And that's when I realized that the belt was broken. Hi, I'm Ariel from France. Bonjour. And welcome to this channel where we create fun costumes and weird stuff. Today I'm working on my first collab. It is a fun project initiated by BlehFluffle. Here is her channel. The rules were to make a wearable outfit inspired by fantasy, a fantasy-bound outfit. And it had to be made with materials from thrift store with a budget of $35 maximum. I spent only 11 euros because I am a cheap bitch. I knew I wanted to make something inspired by Lord of the Rings. Because that was my initiation into fantasy when I was a kid. At first I didn't know what exactly, but I actually got the idea at the charity shop. A dress inspired by Sauron and his fiery eye.
Let's go to the friperie!
So, I got everything I need. This black fabric, it might have been a tablecloth or cover of something. The hem was ripped, so it was really cheap. I can make a long skirt with this. This black shirt, jacket, I don't know. It's a stretchy velvet. Ooh, shoulder pads. It's a style. It's in very good condition. And I have plenty of fabric to work with. This will make the top, the belt, and maybe some gloves, I don't know yet. Next I bought a baby dress. I just need a tiny amount of yellow, so it's cool. A bag of yarn. It's all fire color, so perfect for the Eye of Sauron. It's pieces of leftover spools, but I have more than enough to work with. I actually enjoy embroidery with yarn because it's very pleasant to work with. Recommend. Those metallic threads. I don't know yet if I'm going to use them, but maybe some shiny accents here and there. Even if I don't use them, it's always useful to have shiny stuff. And it was cheap, so... And it all started with this plastic belt, which was like 10 cents. It's plastic and from the 80s, but it's very Sauron style. I also got a lampshade for €1, but it's not for this costume. And then I will just use things from my stash, like threads and maybe some interfacing. Let's see. Let's get to work. I was going on vacation for a week and I wanted to have something relaxing to do, so I prepared the part for embroidery. I cut all the seams of the black velvet jacket. As you can see, the sleeves are a bit damaged, so I tried to avoid that part when cutting them. I traced and cut strips to be used as a belt, and assemble them together to have a long strip. Again, the velvet is a bit stretchy, so I used some iron-on interfacing in the back. You can't really see it, but it's there in the back. The second embroidery will be the big eye on the chest, so I cut the yellow fabric and interfaced it as well to make it stronger. During my very relaxing vacation, I had plenty of time to do that in front of the mountains. This was so nice. And there were goats! J'adore les chèvres! Time for some embroidery. Using wool, you just need a big needle and the fabric that is not too tight. When you are sewing with wool, you can fill the spaces a lot faster. It's a bit rough, but it looks nice, I think. Also, it makes this sound, which I really like. Most of the red is done. I added a bit of yellow and cut a piece of velvet to use as a pupil. With velvet, you can have really deep contrasts, and here it works with the black. Ah, embroidery and vacation is nice. There were so many birds, plein de petits oiseaux, et des chiens, et des chèvres, plein de chèvres. Voilà. I spent so much time scratching the heads. Goats can be so friendly, almost like dogs. Fun fact, goats don't have upper teeth on the front, so they can't really bite you, even here where they try to eat me alive. I see you. Hey you! Did I say I love goats? I love goats. Oui, oui, c'est toi.
Assis-toi la chapouille. Back to work. I added a bit of orange between the yellow and the red. Then cut off the excess fabric all around the eye. I folded it and secured it in place so I could add a lining later. Okay, I didn't end up adding a lining, but it worked fine, so. Then I would do the belt. I wanted to embroider the inscription inside the One Ring of Power. So I traced it using a colored pencil on the velvet. I used the gold thread to embroider all around the belt. Those metallic threads can unravel really easily. So, the trick is to use beeswax. Rub it on the end of your thread, and it will kind of glue the ends together so you can use them more easily. Easier to put into the needle, and then you can make a knot like this. Easy peasy. Les doigts dans le nez. After making all the writing of the rings, I had some space left. So I added a few words using this online translator in Elvish. Nice! I think we get the idea, but it doesn't look really great. It looks a bit like a kid elf learning to write. I made a second pass on all the words to make it look a bit better. It made the lines thicker and looks a lot better. The back is all messy, so we will cover it. Folding the strip in half, pinning it on the edge and sewing the sides. Velvet is always tricky in the sewing machine, so I had to be careful. But it worked in the end. Turning the tube inside out. Folding the ends and sewing it by hand. And after pressing, I had a neat flat belt. And that's when I realized that the belt was broken. I think I did that in the beginning. Ugh. So change of plans, I use these little hooks that are gold and really nice. Not actual gold, but it's shiny, so I like it. Simply sew them and the belt is finished. Now to make an actual garment, I started with cutting off the rest of the velvet jacket, removing the details and pinning on the mannequin so I could drape the dress. Pinning the front, I traced the straps. I wanted to have them really pointy like the tower, so I drew them with chalk. I could then cut and kind of follow the white lines. Folding the pieces, so I have two identical sides, and then assembling them all. After trying on this part, I realized it was a little too big because that thing is stretchy, so I redrew the sides, as you can see here, and sew again on that line and cutting the excess. Then it was time for some delicate serging. This finishes the edges, so it's strong and clean even on the inside. The upper part is all serged and folded only once to finish the edge. I wanted the shoulder strap to be very thin on the top of the shoulder, to have some kind of illusion of a point. So they are actually attached together using a little ribbon, and I try to finish the edges so they can be slowly pointy. This keeps the strap secure, strong, and also still very thin. The bottom part of this top was really long. I folded the hem a little bit, but not too much. That way I have also a tiny sexy dress if I want. It kind of worked. I'm happy about this. Here is the dress. It's stretchy and sexy. Ooh la la. I attached the eye in the front, but I didn't make it too secure, because I don't really know if I'm going to wear it with the eye all the time. But the little black dress is very wearable. I erased the wrong memory card, so I lost the beginning of making the skirt. So what I did? The skirt is actually 4 big trapezoids attached together and serged. And I made a curved waistband that is 2 layers. One is interfaced, and the other encloses the edge to have a clean finish. I use white interfacing on that one, and you can see it peeking out at the seam. It's fine, it's on the inside. And that makes a long skirt that is flowy, perfect for this project. And also super simple to make. I traced the hem, cut it, and finished it by folding the edge twice. And the closure is only 2 snap buttons, and that's all. It is done! C'est fini!
I repaired the lamp.
Non, c'est pas fini. I made some gloves. With the leftover velvet, since it's stretchy, I just traced my hand on it once, added a bit of seam allowance and cut it. Traced it once again. But I didn't have enough fabric to make both hands. So instead I made one of the parts with a separate thumb. Speaking of thumb, why don't you leave a like to this video? It really helps me out. And I prefer to ask you now, before you see the reveal, because I went a little bit crazy with the editing. The 2 parts of the hands are attached together using 1,000,000 pins to avoid shifting of the velvet. You turn it inside out and realize that you really have weird fingers. So I made a few adjustments, as you can see here. And now it fits like a glove. It really makes you feel like a 50s movie star. I am done! The title of this video is Make It Fashion, so let's choose some stupid music and go crazy with the editing. Sorry!
What about second breakfast?
It's a little tight across the chest.
Your love of a halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
You look terrible.
Throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity.
Every orc in Mordor's gonna hear this rocket!
A fool, but an honest fool, he remains.
I hope you like this video. Allez, bisous!
BlehFluffle, BlehFluffle. Oui, je sais pas comment ça se dit. BlehFluffle. BlehFluffle. A wearable. And also this create. Blah, blah, blah. C'est sur des blagues.